Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now because I'm going to explain to you exactly why the Supreme Court will overturn any conviction of former President Donald Trump. Very likely, he'll be convicted in D.C. and New York. The Supreme Court will overturn those convictions. Georgia prosecutors very likely will indict former President Trump. That too will be overturned if he gets convicted. I'll explain why in a second. I want to read you this. Supreme Court overturns Bob McDonnell's corruption conviction, Politico. This is a June 27th, 2016 article. A unanimous Supreme Court has overturned the corruption convictions of former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, ruling that federal prosecutors relied on a boundless definition of the kinds of acts that could lead politicians to face criminal charges. Okay, so essentially it's prosecutorial misconduct. They wanted to get this man, in this case, the former Virginia governor. You had a great many Democrats wanting to get him. They got him convicted. And the Supreme Court said, well, your interpretation of the legal statute is far too broad. So therefore, we're going to overturn your conviction. Jack Smith was a part of this. The special counsel was a part of this trial, in addition to the John Edwards trial. So he's 0-2, he'll be 0-3 very soon. Now, because Trump is not going to, not even in a second, he will never spend a second in prison or jail. It's never going to happen. We can look at the New York indictment. He was the victim of the extortion. The illegal activity was committed against him. Stormy said, if you don't pay $100,000 or so, I'll tell everybody that we had a romantic relationship. So that is not legal. You cannot do that. Furthermore, the FEC did not fine Trump. They fined Clinton and the DNC for purchasing the Steele dossier. Also, the prosecutor, the district attorney prior to the current district attorney, didn't even have a case. We can go on forever with that. And then the lead witness is a convicted felon, Michael Cohen. With the classified data nonsense, he was a president with the power to declassify. He stated he declassified. They have to prove he didn't declassify, which will be very difficult because according to Politico, he can classify documents verbally. Clinton had top secret intel running on servers outside of the United States government. Nobody knows how they were able to transfer classified data onto Clinton's servers. The Honorable James Comey couldn't find intent. Okay, so Democrats are doing far infinitely worse. They're actually breaking laws. But let's just go to this now. And then the January issue, he was not indicted. Oh no, the Federal Bureau of Investigation stated he had nothing to do with a terrible day in January. He did not compel or tell anyone or incite anyone to do anything. Furthermore, he believed that he was treated like Bernie Sanders in the DNC primary. Okay, Democrats have done that before. Tammany Hall and beyond, before Tammany Hall, prior to Tammany Hall, Democrats have continually engaged in that conduct. So, yeah, Trump felt he got cheated. Not for 1 second did he not believe what he was saying. But anyway, Georgia will probably, the prosecutors will probably indict Trump in Fulton County. Here's why it'll be overturned by the Supreme Court. The Fulton County indictment, Trump spread falsehoods. Okay, falsehoods is a matter of opinion, especially when it comes to 2 years ago. Okay, 3 years ago. You have bizarre anomalies that Trump pointed out. He is allowed to express his viewpoints, and the endless fact check of Trump was not leveled at, 7 years now of accusing him of being an operative of the Kremlin. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel. They lie all the time. Then when they say Trump lies, it's like the end of the world. The problem, however, is that there were a great many anomalies. He's up in 6 to 7 states in the evening, and then the next morning he loses those states. The manner in which he lost did not sit well with him. He had every right to go through his attorneys and go to court. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. Thank you so very much for your kind words. I know that I hadn't posted for about a week. A lot of great things happening for me, ladies and gentlemen, and thank God. So, to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. Again, thank you for the kind words in the comments section yesterday. And I'll be posting a lot more frequently. And of course, we're going to have interviews. We're going to do a lot of great things in 2024 and try to get this channel to over 300,000 subs. But to my Patreon, thank you. And to my super thanks, thank you so very, very much. Paul and Love Trucks, thank you so very, very much. Here you have Trump spread falsehoods online. He has a right to spread all the falsehoods he wants, just like Democrats spread falsehoods about Bernie Sanders in a fair and neutral primary. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace in 2016, then promptly worked for Clinton. Then you have Trump was telling the truth for years and years. They had a special counsel accusing him of being an operative of the Kremlin. That was not true. Clinton purchased a Steele dossier. I think, by the way, Clinton will eventually be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I just can't imagine Hillary Clinton looking at Fetterman and Biden and saying, gee, maybe I just don't have what it takes. Anyway, so, and I also believe that I've been saying this for a long time. In 2021, I said 2022 would be terrible, would have a crash. I think that we're still going to have a devastating stock market crash. 2022 was one of the worst years in the stock market in decades, and I said it would be terrible. I think we're going to have, unfortunately, a terrible stock market crash. And look, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel, the Stock Market Crash channel, my two other channels. I'm going to talk more about that, unfortunately, when it happens. I think it will, unfortunately. Okay, so Trump spreads falsehoods made a personal call to a state official, which, by the way, was perfectly legal. There was nothing. The state official actually thanked him at the end of the call and asking to overturn the will of the voters and plotted to use, phony officials to falsify results. That is very interesting. So that might have to do with Republicans. So when they accuse Republican officials, because it would be Republican officials within the Republican Party of those states, when they accuse these people of being fake or phony and not serving in some kind of official capacity, that wouldn't have taken 2 years. This is all political in nature. If indeed he committed a crime in Georgia or D.C. or in New York or with classified data, they wouldn't have to wait 2-3 years going into 2024. As it is, he's already defeating mashed potato brains in polls. So they have nothing. Every time they can indict Trump 65, 70, 100 times, it wouldn't matter. They can indict Trump 1,000,000 times. It wouldn't matter at all. Because the problem with Democrats is they don't understand that the entire world knows what they're doing. The political fuel, the push for all of this is a political party going after its direct political rival, the only person capable of defeating a Democrat. There will never again be a Republican. If media doesn't become more objective and apolitical, if media continues to serve as an extension of the Democratic Party, there is not one Trump supporter at the Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, The Atlantic, The New Yorker. We can go on forever. There's not one supporter of President Trump in late night or Hollywood or social media companies. So only Trump is capable of defeating a Democrat. We saw that in 2016. The entire American political establishment was against him then. He won. The issue here is that they're overstepping their boundaries because they're making absurd claims. All of these indictments are based on sensibilities. not any criminal activity he committed. Give me your thoughts below, and they'll be overturned by the Supreme Court. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.